Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence. It keeps this channel ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Ink Dependence. I'm Mike, and today we're taking a look at this ink. This is Sheaffer's Coastal Blue. Bleu Côtier Azul Costero. These are new bottles and a new line of inks from Sheaffer. You can find these all over the place. I bought mine from Gold Spot, where I got them for about $13 a bottle, I believe. I might have had a sale going on. I don't know, about that price. Here's the bottle in the box. It's got this nice protective foam in here. You have a little Sheaffer pamphlet. Then you have the bottle itself, which is, I think, a very handsome bottle. And it also harkens back to the old-timey bottles, which have this inkwell built in. You can see the seam in the glass right there. Let's go ahead and open this up. Right there. Also, I'll say I really like the interior of this cap. It has like a little plastic holder that comes down and anchors this this bit of foam in here that seals up the bottle, and that means that this won't get stuck to the top of your bottle, because that sucks. I hate when that happens. You can also see in here where the where that ink, that little inkwell is, and to put ink in that inkwell, you just sort of turn it over or tilt it enough. You can see it sort of fills up, and you'll have unequal amounts of ink here and here. It's a really interesting system. It's a little bit of a shallow inkwell, so if you have a very long nib, you're just going to want to use the other side for, filling. But it's pretty cool, and I like this little bottle. These are 30 mils. Let's put this stuff back together. Slap it back in there. Coastal Blue. All right, let's look at it on some paper. Here it is on my usual 80 grams per square meter Rhodia bright white paper here. You can see that this is a very cool swatch. Look at all that interesting color you got going on there. You do get some shading in the written parts, but it's not massive. Way more here, actually, and it definitely looks both more blue and more green in this. It's kind of a teal color as it is, this Coastal Blue, but all kinds of interesting. This looks like, something artsy and, aquatic to me, so that's pretty cool. Flow, I say on this is slightly dry, but mostly kind of medium. I've got it in this pen, which is the Esterbrook JR. It was one of those vacation coastally pens. I can't remember the name of this darn thing off the top of my head, but this has a medium nib in it right there. And this ink does tend to be a little bit on the dry side. I think I would have liked it in a slightly wetter nib than this one, but it hasn't given me any problems. No hard starts or, ink stoppages or anything like that. And I think it looks nice coming out of this pen. It's very vacation-y. But you can also see down here in the bottom here, the bottom of this written part, where it does get lighter. And that's because I think the ink is just like not flowing through the nib as much as I would like it. And it was darker up here. I don't know. When I started out, it was just a little bit wetter or something, but it's pretty controlled. And so you have really good behavior on copy paper. So this is my Staples 20-pound, 30% recycled copy paper, which is terrible paper that you'll just find in your office being bad. And you see a couple of feathers here and there, like on the S of Coastal up in here, and maybe a couple of other places, but not much. And then on the back, hardly anything came through the back of this paper. So this is basically zero bleed for this kind of terrible office paper. So that's pretty good. And this medium nib, it is excellent on this paper, and so that's going to work out well for a lot of people. And if you'd like this to feel a bit darker and wetter, just put it in a wetter nib, and it'll be okay. $13, as I said, for the 30 ml bottle, and this is a pretty nice ink. I like it. I've liked all these Sheaffer, this new Sheaffer set that I've tried, and so this is really no exception, even though it's a little bit on the dry side. So let's do a water test. Take a look at the chromatography, and then we'll look at it on some other papers and inks that are similar. Lost a word there. There we go. And you can see this is definitely moving. I'm not expecting any water resistance from this ink, and I don't think I'm getting any. Keep this. Maybe don't take this ink to the coast, is what I'm saying. Color is coastal. Venue should be landlocked. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, not much. A lot of it came off on the paper towel, and hardly anything stayed on the page. So this has been there for a while. It is not fresh or anything like that. And so, yeah, that's not good water resistance. Don't get this near water. It shouldn't be coastal. Okay. So here is the chromatography. And you can see why I'm not surprised at the lack of water resistance. There's a tiny bit of blue down here where it started, but almost all the ink came up the chromatography sheet here. Nice green component here and a nice blue component, and it's a blue-greeny, tealy color, and so no surprises here, but nice looking bands of color. They just moved all the way. All right. So I put it on 3 other kinds of paper. This is Tomoe River in my Galen Everyday book. It is right here. It's actually the first thing I put in here back in March. And there it is. I've filled this pen with this ink a couple of different times over that time period. I do like this ink. It's very nice, and it fits this pen very well. So good stuff. Looks nice on here, although maybe a little bit on the blue side, or the light side, I would say. Then here we have our Inky Fingers Currently Inked notebook. This is wheat straw paper, and as you can see here, it also looks lighter on here, which is interesting. But yeah, you get a little bit of that green in there. It looks a little bit different on different papers, which is a cool thing that ink does sometimes. And then lastly, on a Nocco note card, I was just doing some lyric writing late at night just to get back into handwriting stuff. And it looks pretty good on here. You do see a little bit of feathering and that sort of thing. And you can tell it gets lighter as I go on. I'm not really sure what that is. I think it just, you get more on the nib at the very beginning because it's just like hanging out in the feed. And then as you use it up, it just sort of gets lighter and lighter. I've never had it run out though, which is cool. So, and no bleed through on this card or anything. So there you go. All right. Now let's look at some inks that are close. There is the Colodex card. You can find these at Well Appointed Desk or lots of other vendors and that sort of thing. But these are made by my friend Anna, and they're great. This is Lake Michigan Winter, which is meant to be a lake. And this is coastal. Lakes have coasts. And you can see that this bit and this are very, very similar. This does go a lot more blue than Lake Michigan Winter does, but very similar in some parts of it. Next up, Colorverse Photon, which is, again, quite a lot more green, mostly, but again, here and here, very, very similar colors. Coastal Blue is doing a lot of complicated things in there, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it. Robert Oster Marine is very close. I would say this part and this part and these parts and these parts, these are very nice matches here. I think this is actually very, very close. So Robert Oster Marine. Leonardo Smeraldo Stone, which is an emerald ink, does have a whole lot in common here. This is looking very, very close. Thanks, Kimberly, for that sample. And then Birmingham Pinco Honey Creeper. Also, the Leonardo inks are in general much wetter. So if you'd like to get this kind of color, but in a wetter ink, Leonardo might be your thing. Also, Birmingham Penco's Honey Creeper. This is from last year, but I think they still make this ink, and it's still pretty similar. I've been enjoying this ink quite a bit, actually. I've got it in a pen right now, and I've liked it. And you see that this here and this over here are kind of close, but this one skews much more blue. And lastly, Pannonia Mirkzuld. Mirkzuld? I don't know, man. This is Poison Green. And I think this is a very close match. This is from Sugar Inks. And you can see that this part and this part and these parts over here are very, very similar. So where's the other one? Yeah, here's this one. Oh, Marine. Marine was the other one that was super duper close. So these three are at least cousins, maybe, probably siblings, really. They're very, very close. So pick the one that you like the most. All right. So this has been Sheaffer's Coastal Blue. Check this out wherever you find Sheaffer inks. As I said, I got mine at Goldspot. And if you are a patron to my channel, you can see that link below here in the description. You get a nice little discount code for Goldspot pens. So go check that out and make use of that code. Tell them I said hi if you order, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.